It wasn't pretty. Boy, man, we just said that like a lot. Like it's just been like a lot of it wasn't pretty. 2021-22 Nuggets. Not pretty, but good enough. This is Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast, part of the Locked On Network, your team every day. Thanks for making us your first listen. We're free and available on all platforms, including YouTube, which is the best way for you to check out the show. My name is Matt Moore. You can follow me on Twitter at HBBasketball. He's Adam Mares. You can follow him on Twitter at Adam_Mares. We're coming to you after the Nuggets get the win over the Charlotte Hornets on Monday night in a game that, quite honestly, Adam, I thought they were going to lose. I thought the more I looked at this game, the more I was like, man, the Hornets are going to hit threes and the Nuggets are not. And instead, I don't necessarily, it was not defense, but the Hornets missed enough. This was a make or miss game, and the Hornets missed enough for the Nuggets to escape with a 113-109 win because of, shocking surprise, Nikola Jokic has another amazing game, and that's how this one goes.
Yeah, the Hornets were not as good as I expected them to be. It might have been the second night of a back-to-back thing or whatever, but I walked away pretty unimpressed with them. But I was very impressed with Nikola Jokic, 26, 19, and 11. The 19 boards, that's the thing that obviously stands out to you, but I don't know. He went through, in my opinion, he went through a little bit of a lull, like a very, very brief little mini lull. But over these last couple of games, I feel like, okay, he's back. He's ready for this home stretch. And tonight was a great example of that.
Yeah, the rebounding was absolutely berserk, especially because it was directly impactful on the outcome of the game, in that, like, rebounds are always important, but he had two massive ones in the fourth quarter, just little grab and putbacks on his own missed shots, and those wound up being the difference. Like, Jokic just was too much down the stretch, and the Hornets did not have an answer. I thought the third, like, I'll say this, the starters played really well across their four stretches. Like, the last stretch was not good in that it wasn't like, oh, they came in and they just put the game away. It was still in doubt up to the final minute, right? But if you take the entire course of the four stretches of starter ball, those four stretches cumulatively were really good. Like, the plus minus says that, with Jokic being a plus 21 and Gordon a plus 20 and Morris a plus 19. But, like, even more than that, like, if you just, like, the third quarter I thought was really good. Like, they came out and did the thing, and it was in a good spot. And tonight it was a return to the old bench problem.
It's so. Why do you think it is, Matt? Why can't they both be good at the same night? Other than, like, every like 9th or 10th game is they're both good at the same time. But it really does, because tonight I wasn't, like, impressed with Charlotte's bench. I just was very unimpressed with Denver's. Like, they just they missed a lot of shots. They didn't seem Bones seemed a little uncomfortable. I don't. This was a weird bench game tonight, because I just thought they was right for them to be good.
I thought the 2 threes that Bones hit in the third were good. Like, that was like, those were big shots. I'll say this. This one is another one I kind of put on the rotations.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought he waited way too long to bring back the Yoke in the fourth, but but that's, like, I could say that almost every single game.
It's just like,
and in real time, by the way, this isn't a post afterward. This is like we were watching it. There was a timeout with like 8 minutes or 7.5 minutes to go, and you thought, perfect timing. You just bring him in now.
I know he's trying to buy him minutes, and at 35, like, here's the thing: is I do think that he needs to be playing less than 38. You know,
at
like,
this point, does it matter?
I do. I think it matters.
Really? Right now, with 6 games to go?
I think that there's just, like, that 6 minutes over, like, the cumulative, like, oh, I'm more tired than I was on a normal game. Oh, I'm more tired than I was on
I agree, but we're past the cumulative part.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, you can settle into a playoff rotation if you kind of want, like, a closer to it at 37, 38. I get it. Especially, like, one of the things that honestly they might want to do is just, like, test out a playoff rotation the next 3 games. particularly the next two. Because if you win the next two and the Wolves happen to lose to the Raptors, then that's it.
That's pretty much
4, and they're not catching 4 in 6 games. Like,
no, it'd be 4 and 5 games, I think, or 4 and 4 games. Yeah.
Let me check the numbers. Because let's see, Nuggets had, because they're down to 6 games after tonight. So yeah, it would be down to 5. It'd be 4 up with 5 to go. That's it. That's game over. So if you do that, exactly.
I should give it extra couple minutes here, but let me just read you tell me if you think there's anything meaningful here. Okay. LeBron James this season has played 37 or more minutes 29 times. How many times would you guess Jokic has played 37 or more minutes?
15?
6.
Okay.
6. That's crazy to me. I just again, I'm with you that in aggregate, it makes sense. This is the stuff that I just don't talk about in December and January and even February. It's just we can see the finish line. We could see the finish line. So to me, I'm just a little bit like, hey, you might need to kind of just run him through the finish line here and then take a week off before the playoffs begin.
Yeah, I get that. Like, if you win the next 2, then you can start resting. You can start resting him in certain spots. Because honestly, if you can lock the 6, who cares? Like, stay in the 6. That's fine.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe they will. Honestly, maybe Malone will. This next game, you hope Denver can win a little bit more comfortably, but maybe it is that Minnesota game. We see a 42-minute night from Jokic, and he treats that one as if it were a playoff game.
Yeah. I'll say I thought Jokic looked a little gassed at the end.
A little bit.
And I think for me, honestly, a lot of it's just they always talk about it. The training staffs will talk about it as if like a player goes into the red.
Yeah.
Right. And you're always trying to keep him out of that.
Yeah.
And I don't know what Jokic's red looks like because his endurance has been incredible. So I get it. I think for Malone, it's part of it is he's just like, but you were doing so well, like with the bench. You were doing so. Why can't you just do as well as you were doing for another 90 seconds? Like because that's what always happens. It's like that 90-second stretch where he's like, the reason I say the rotations, it's weird because they got the win, right? Like they got the win on the road. You had the stat that they have won the most road
How crazy is that
in franchise history? Again, what a weird ass season where no one's happy about anything, and they had the most road wins in franchise history. Let's take a break.
Can I give you a crazier stat?
Yeah, hit me.
And even because that road one is really impressive, and I do think it should be part of the Nuggets' identity and something they should take pride in. I mean, they're going to go on the road for the first round of the playoffs, almost certainly. So I think it's kind of cool if they start banging that drum both internally and externally. The Nuggets, I believe, are 3 games away from hitting their preseason over.
3.5, yeah.
So they have to win 4?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, because they're at... Where are they at? Hang on. They're at 45. No, it's 3.
Yeah, 3 games. So I'm saying there's 6 left. They need to go 3-3, which I don't want to say is I mean, it's pretty likely, I guess. I mean, there's a good chance they go 3-3. And that would hit the preseason over that assumed that Michael Porter would be healthy all year and assumed that Jamal Murray would probably come back sometime in the last month of the season. If you hit that, despite neither of those things happening, to me, when I heard that today, I was like, that's the most impressive thing I could that's the best MVP case you could probably make is say Vegas thought the healthy version would do exactly what the unhealthy version did.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you on that. Let's take a break. I want to talk about the rotations and those kind of things, and we'll dig a little bit more into like the fact that the season's been better than it feels like. We'll do that when we come back on Locked On Nuggets. But first, I need to tell you about NBA Top Shot. NBA Top Shot is the officially licensed NFT of the NBA. You get to connect with a passionate community of NBA fans across the globe and build your collection with your favorite moments from NBA history, as I'm sure there'll be many from tonight. NBA Top Shot is the future of what being an NBA fan looks like. It's part trading cards, part stock market, and part fantasy sports with a built-in loyalty program. NBA Top Shot has evolved trading cards and made it easier to buy, sell, and trade by removing the hassle of card grading, shoe boxes, and binders. Their 24/7 peer-to-peer marketplace lets you scroll through all your favorite players and teams. You can find cool ones. I have some tasty DeAnthony Melton ones. He had himself a nice night tonight. Once you find the moment you've been looking for, you can buy it in a couple of clicks. Now, I hear all the time, why would I buy something that I can watch on YouTube for free? And the answer is because it's not about watching a highlight. It's about having ownership in the stock market of the NBA's greatest moments. And owning NBA Top Shot moments can get you access to unbuyable, once-in-a-lifetime experiences. They flew out Suns NFT holders for the finals last year. They flew out rookie holders for the draft, and they got to play basketball with Obi Toppin. If you sign up for Top Shot today, the best way to start is getting yourself a starter pack. You can pull a moment of a superstar like LeBron or KD, or star rookies like Cade Cunningham or Evan Mobley for just $9. Head over to lockedon.nbatopshot.com to start building your collection today. We're also brought to you by TrueBill. You know why free trials renew without your consent? I caught 3 using TrueBill last month. That just saved me a whole bunch of money that I just had completely ignored, and they would have auto-renewed for the year this month if I hadn't caught them. It's a business scam to get you. Don't let greedy corporations pocket your money. Download TrueBill and take control of your subscriptions. TrueBill is a new app that helps you identify and stop paying for subscriptions you don't want, need, or just simply forgot about. On average, people save up to $720 a year with TrueBill. Because companies make subscriptions hard to cancel, TrueBill makes it incredibly simple. Just link your accounts and TrueBill can cancel your unwanted subscriptions in just one tap. TrueBill's got over 2 million users and helped save them over $100 million. Don't fall for subscription scams. Start canceling today at TrueBill.com/LockedOnNBA. Go right now, TrueBill.com/LockedOnNBA. It could save you thousands a year. We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets. Back here on Locked On Nuggets, thanks for making this part of your day and your first listen each and every day. Make sure your second listen is Locked On Now. It's got nightly recaps of all the NBA games from our panel of local experts. Check it out wherever you get podcasts. That's Locked On Now. So, Adam, I think for me, the reason I said the rotations, this was a game, in my opinion, where you could just win with offense. And he keeps not playing Bryn Forbes to stagger Will Barton. And in my opinion, you're not getting anything out of Will running the second unit that is better than Bryn Forbes' pure shooting ability. Like, the defense isn't noticeably better, even if Will is a more capable athlete. The playmaking isn't better. You still need Bones to do a lot. It's a good idea conceptually, but the Austin Rivers, Will Barton, Bones Highland combo, I genuinely think they'd be better off if you're going to play 3 guards, which again, I don't necessarily want them to. If you're going to go that route, it should be Bones, Austin, and Forbes. And that gives you pure shooter, defensive guy, and then Bones, dynamic player, right? I'm not worried. Like the Hornets, you could say like, well, the Hornets have all these big athletic guys like Kelly Oubre and Bridges. Those guys got to the rim whenever they wanted anyway.
I know.
So at that point, in order to survive those bench minutes, I truly believe that your best course of action is Bones, Bryn Forbes, DeMarcus Cousins. Have those 3, pure shooter, dynamic scorer, inside presence. Like, I would stagger Aaron with them if Aaron didn't look like he was about to fall over half the time. It'd be nice if they had another wing. But to me, the decision to go with that 3, it's not a guard lineup because Will's playing small forward in that spot, and he can play small forward. It's what he normally does. In that combo, I genuinely don't think that was the right approach versus this team on this night, given how lax the Hornets defense is.
I could be talked into it. I mean, I did. It's not a thought I had watching the game. Clearly what they went with didn't work. More to your point. I mean, they didn't score, right? They didn't score with Jokic off the court in the first half. That's a crazy stat. Like, Jokic went to the bench and they just don't score. So that to me, that was like really concerning, but I'm more concerned, to be honest, watching this game. Charlotte's okay. I was so unimpressed with Charlotte. The way Denver just can't keep anybody in front of them is it's so insane to me. I don't understand it. And some of these plays were, they almost, let me ask this. Did this game feel like it was a sense of urgency game? I thought it absolutely did from Aaron Gordon. Like, he played really hard. He came out of the gate playing hard. But some of the blow-bys that happened, I'm like, do they realize if they lose this one, the playoffs become a little bit more in doubt?
Yeah, I don't have a good answer here where it's just like, if you don't have, like, the only guys on that team that have taken defense seriously in their careers are Austin Rivers and Aaron Gordon. Jamaica.
Austin Rivers really, I mean, I have so much confidence in him right now defensively.
Yeah. Nobody else thinks that they need nobody else has felt like they needed it in their careers because they haven't until this point. And
they really need Will Barton's defense, man.
they
They
do.
just, I mean, they really need him
do.
to.
Like it's just, and I honestly thought Barton was okay in the first 2 stints defensively. I thought he was okay.
Defensively.
Third quarter, I thought his offense was good. Hit the threes; those are big shots. Like those shots are big. Like they were genuinely big. Like whenever he hits threes, those are big shots for Denver. But then that fourth quarter, it's just like it's not just the one that he gave up to Rozier where he just got lost and almost gave up a 4-point play that could have cost him the game. It's just like you said, there's never containment ever. Monte can't. Like I genuinely don't blame Monte because Monte is an undersized backup point guard, and Monte just can't. Bones, I honestly think to a large degree can't either. Like I think Bones, like the spirit is willing. He's just figuring out he has to figure out the timing, the rotations, the technique, and on top of it, guys are able to just brush by him because he's slight. Will has the physical capacity to, and honestly, it just seems like he's always looking to make a play, like a deflection, like he ball watches.
The play he had tonight where he jumped out at half court after Denver had played 20 seconds of great defense was an absolute killer. I mean, he knows not to do that.
And again, this is crazy that we're talking about this because they won. Most,
it just wasn't an inspiring win, but that really is the story of the Nuggets season. They're about to they might hit their over, and it's been unimpressive.
Yeah, that's really legitimately it. So I think, and I part of this is, and Ryan has talked about this a lot to his credit. Ryan's talked a lot about they need to build championship habits, and they haven't built any of them. Like
they were in a tight spot tonight, and they're in a tight spot this season. Like the already shorthanded Nuggets not having JaMychal Green or Zeke Naji available, that really did affect the way this game, what Denver had at their disposal. So we do kind of have to tip a hat to. They got a win despite being like massively down. So I don't want to harp on it too long. It's just that this is a thing that I see people in the comments saying, is this a flaw that has to be addressed? I really do. I think it is a flaw that like the Nuggets probably need another person to their roster. In addition to kind of like retaining Austin Rivers, he's so important now. They probably need one more guy that can guard like 2-3.
They need the 2016 version. 2014. No, sorry, I'm getting there. 2013-14 version of Andre Iguodala.
Well, yeah, but that's a championship caliber piece. Like that Andre Iguodala in that year was like a phenomenal. That was a really good player.
So maybe like the one that was later on, right? Like 17-18. Does that make
sure?
Like a little bit of a downgrade for a cheaper price?
Yeah, a guy that kind of like coasted the regular season and then.
So I guess here's the differential. Would you rather have a younger player with more athleticism, who's maybe a little bit less savvy and makes more mistakes, or would you rather have a low mistakes veteran that's really good defensively, but the legs are not always going to be there?
Oh man.
Yeah,
the last part. I thought you were going to say that's maybe a lower quality player, but if it's about health and like probably the veteran. Honestly, like I mean, because here's the problem. Here's one of the things I think Denver's going to run into. I mean, you saw some of these stats that Jeff Green, Aaron Gordon, and I don't remember who the third one, all set career highs in dunks this year, which is funny because Jeff Green's been in the league for 2 decades, but. I wonder, like, if you get a Gary Harris type, I wonder if Gary Harris shined too much in this system that it ended up when it's like, really, if you replayed this, it's like, no, what you need is the defensive Gary Harris. You just need the guy that can lock up. And if he scores 8 points, 9 points, that's great. And I think that was probably Gary's best sort of like, he might have a longer career. He got paid. So of course it worked out right. But I wonder if that's the mold you need. It's just if you get a young version of that, they end up scoring a little bit higher than you expect in this system, and you almost can't retain them.
Maybe the Kings will give up Davion Mitchell. No,
that's my guy. That's my guy.
I know he's great. He's so great. I'm excited to watch him in 5 years when he gets out of Sacramento. So I think I'm at the point like I've held out. I think in part, like one of the reasons I tried to be an optimist this season was trying to get everyone through. just because like it was a bummer, and I felt like I was trying to be like, no, like they're still good, and now we're here, and now like I'm out of steam, and I'm kind of like, yeah, man, like they're not getting healthier, and they're dog ass tired, and they're a flawed team, and I don't know if they're going to be able to do it.
I'm not throwing out the towel on them getting healthier. Well, actually, I should say getting healthier is funny because that implies like a fully healthy version.
Right.
I'm not ruling out those guys coming back in some capacity, at least one of them in some capacity.
Sun's getting real low, big guy. That's an Avengers line. That's from a comic book movie. That's like the whole thing is.
Is Batman the one that says it?
No. My daughter she keeps having fits at school. She's 5. She's young for her age in kindergarten. And so she gets really frustrated when people don't listen to her, and they're trying to teach her to calm down. So they've started having her do the namaste. And so that's what we do a lot at home is whenever she starts to get upset. And that's what I'm going to do right now to your comment about Batman being in the Avengers. I'm going to namaste that. So yeah, I think I'm at the point of kind of being like, look, we're down to 6 games. They're not going to have any time together. The conditioning won't be right. I just don't know what the upside at this point is. It just feels like the window closed. I feel like there was a 2-week window earlier this month when Jamal was in Grand Rapids and things were kind of heading in that direction. And I am now at the point of like, okay, I'm ready for this I kept hoping that for the Nuggets fans that this team would kind of hit a gear because they have so many times. And then I kind of woke up one day and was just like, they don't have that gear because they don't have the machine. Like they don't have the parts.
Yeah.
Like they just don't have the engine. And so there's no next gear to get to. They won tonight again. I should mention that. I'm usually much more positive when they win games, but tonight, for whatever reason, I was really honestly tonight because I was just like, guys, the Hornets want you to take this game. They're shooting terribly. Like you're letting them have wide open corner threes, and they're bricking the hell out of them. This is a winnable game. Just take the game, and they were still kind of like, yeah. Oh, Jokic got the rebound and puts it back, and so. That's how that goes. You want to take a break and we'll talk about the Western Conference and where we're at?
Yeah, let's do it. Update on the standing. Right. Night by night. I love it.
We'll do NBA playoff picture in the Western Conference when we come back on Locked On Nuggets. But first, it's time for me to tell you about Rock Auto. You know, the ever-increasing number of makes and models. We're getting ready to sell my car, and so I had to get a part for my Rogue, and it's an SV, not an SL. If you go to the parts store, you're going to spend like 30 minutes trying to figure out which one of those it is. No, it's the other one. You don't have to worry about that. You just go to rockauto.com, you're going to get the part that you want immediately. No fuss, no muss, and you're going to save money on it. You can spend up to 30%, 50%, 100% more if you go to one of these big chain stores. Like a Honda Odyssey fuel pump is $353 from a chain store. It's only $216 from Rock Auto. Rock Auto is a family business serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years. Their prices are reliably low for every customer, and they got everything that you need from brake parts, tail lamps, motor oil, and even new carpet. Go explore their easy-to-use website today and find the solution for your auto parts needs. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck. Right, Locked On in their How'd You Hear About Us box, so they know we sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need at rockauto.com. We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets. Back here on Locked On Nuggets, thanks for making us part of your day and your first listen each and every day. Make your second listen Locked On NBA. It's Tuesday. That means I'm on. I broke down all sorts of games, like the Celtics and Raptors game, which was really pretty hilarious because the Raptors couldn't put away the Celtics G League team. Also, talked about this game. Also, broke down the Bulls loss, and I looked at a little bit at the playoff picture. Lots of things interesting. Check it out, and you'll get Adam on Fridays. So check it out at Locked On NBA on wherever you get podcasts and on the YouTubes. Whew. There's a lot of reads in a row, so I'm taking a breath. Namaste.
Quick rundown here. Joel Embiid, 37 minutes or more 8 times. So he's actually played 37 minutes or more than Jokic has this season. Karl Anthony Towns, 17. So just a little point here that Jokic, he's an outlier. It's weird because he's played like one of the most minutes overall.
Yeah.
But it's weird that he's played the fewest big minute single games. Maybe that's connected. Maybe we have to maybe there's something to it.
I guess my immediate question is, what does Jokic want?
Yeah, that's cool.
I
That's
get.
actually true.
He's probably like, I don't care. I don't know. He may be aging out of that though. He may be like reaching the point where he's like, no, I kind of need to peel it back a little bit. I'm pretty tired today. I just don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Sabonis
Um,
19 times.
So I got the hammer. This is the playoff hammer. Now
Okay.
we're gonna hammer in where things are at.
Okay.
Here's the situation as it stands right now. The Nuggets moved to 45 wins on the season. The magic number for a top 6 spot in the Western Conference is 5. That's they can catch 2 on the Wolves with a win on Friday, regardless of the outcome of the Wolves game versus the Raptors. That's a absolutely freaking massive game. The Timberwolves will have tiebreaker regardless of circumstance, because the Nuggets can only tie the season series, and if they tie the season series, the second tiebreaker is division record. And as I always say, you got to win home games, division games, and teams versus under 500. And the Nuggets only did 1 of the 3 this year. Not great at home, great on the road, not great at home. Took care of business versus teams under 500, but they didn't win those division games, and that's a problem, as I always kind of say. So now, meanwhile, the Golden State Warriors take another loss tonight. The Memphis Grizzlies have clinched a top 4 seed and home court in the first round. So Memphis can't fall further than 4 no matter what happens the rest of the season. They are a magic number of 1 for the 2 seed. If they get a win or a Warriors loss, they will wind up locking they need a win because they got to get past the Mavericks, but they will, in all likelihood, lock home court throughout this week. Meanwhile, the Warriors lost again, so they're at 28 losses. The Mavericks are at 29. The Jazz are at 30. The Nuggets are 31. So now the Nuggets are 3 games behind the Warriors. Typically in this spot, I would tell you there is no chance of Denver catching a team that has 3 up on them in the loss column with 6 games left to play. It's possible. That's how bad Golden State's kind of is cratering.
What's going on with them? I know Curry's obviously out.
Yeah, that's it. So, I mean, they rested guys tonight. They punted this game.
It's crazy.
Like, honestly, I'm kind of like, you guys got a lot of confidence here. Like, if this goes sideways and the Wolves actually, like, if the Wolves win the next 2, it gets real dicey for you.
If the Wolves do?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because the Warriors have not clinched a top 6 seed.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, they got.
They're at 28 losses. They've got a 5-game lead in the loss column over the Wolves. I'm just saying, like, it is not inconceivable to me. The Warriors lost to the Hawks.
They have all tough. The only bad team left is the Sacramento Kings. So they have 1 game that you look at that say that's kind of a gimme. Although it is the second night of a back-to-back in Sacramento.
So here's this is a good news, bad news situation. The Warriors may slide, which gives Denver another team they can possibly pass to rise up in the standings. But it also means it's increasingly likely that we're going to get a Mavericks 3 versus Nuggets 6
first
round matchup. That one, all of a sudden, that's looking very likely.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one, but whatever. I mean, to me, I'm like that doesn't. I'll take it.
Okay. Would you rather have Utah, Golden State, or Dallas?
At the moment, maybe Golden State, just because I know how hard it is to come back from injury right into the playoffs. I mean, the Nuggets are facing this very thing, and we're worried about it making them worse. So for me, especially Denver being a 6, if they are the 6 seed and you're talking about a 3, if you get to go into Golden State for the first 2 games, and oh, by the way, Golden State is just coming back from injury and kind of discombobulated, your odds of taking one or both there go up quite a bit. So it's probably them.
Yeah, I don't know. I think all those options are kind of interesting. The Jazz seem like they're running out of steam too. They're really banged up. So the Jazz play the Clippers tomorrow in LA. That one should be interesting. The Lakers play the Mavericks tomorrow, and LeBron's not going to play. And if the Lakers lose, Adam, will be out. They will be
honest question for you, Matt. Do you think the Lakers do you think they are punting?
Yes.
Do you think they're trying to lose?
Yes.
It's insane to me. It's insane. I mean, because I asked that because the Nuggets play them twice in the final 4 games, and that really goes along. Like if I knew for a fact that like LeBron was just going to not play, AD was not going to play, I would look at that and I go, okay, the Nuggets are the 6th seed. Like they're in the playoffs if that's the case. But those 2 games, if it's a desperate, like a truly desperate LeBron with Anthony Davis coming back and they got it, like those 2 games just become tough. I don't care if it's the Lakers and it's this terrible season.
I remember LeBron last year talking about the plan and just basically saying like, I'm not here for no plan. Like he was insulted that he was being forced into this situation. If they're gearing up, if they're like, they know the situation. If that's the position, then why would he sit out this Mavericks game?
Mm-hmm.
That's my question. Now, I have thought about this, right? Is that the Lakers beat the Nuggets twice, and that knocks Denver into the 7, and then the Lakers win the 9-10 versus the Pelicans, and then eliminate Denver. Like that possibility is definitely on the table, right? Just because like it's in these single game environments, it's crazy. That's why the players hate it so much. But in my opinion, it certainly seems like the Lakers are definitely 1-2-3 Cancooning it.
That's insane to me. Absolutely insane. I mean, it'll be interesting to follow. Let me look at their schedule. Like, who do they have some tough ones coming up? I mean, if they sit everybody out tomorrow, I think they're going to lose. Like, that's just LeBron. I can't imagine them winning without it. So they got Dallas, then at Utah, New Orleans, Denver, Phoenix, Golden State, Denver. Yeah, that's man. They even if they're not. It's crazy to say this, but even if they're not tanking, they could lose out anyway. Like, that's a really tough schedule anyway.
On Wednesday, you got the Nuggets facing the Indiana Pacers, who are actively tanking.
Right.
They should win that one. That's one that I'm like, okay, you can win this one. If you don't, that's a problem. The Mavericks then have a back-to-back versus the Cavs. Cavs are really short-handed. Evan Mobley got banged up. So no Mobley, no Jared Allen. That's going to be tough for them. Mavericks probably get the win there. So another reason for them to think. The big one for the Nuggets fans is Wolves-Raptors on Wednesday. If the Raptors can protect their home court, they're trying to secure a top 6 seed. Then the Wolves will then be 3 games back if the Nuggets beat the Pacers, setting up obviously that big Friday night battle in Denver versus the Wolves. Grizzlies have Spurs. The Suns face the Warriors, so that's an L for the Warriors, no question. Like Suns are not taking off any games whatsoever. They're just not.
They might. I'm curious. We'll see if they do once they get.
No, they're going to take off the back-to-back versus Denver, and instead they played harder that game.
They might just be going for the record, which is 63. So they got 3 more games of playing.
How about this one on Thursday? Lakers Jazz. So either way, I think Nuggets fans win with that matchup. And then Friday night, obviously, is the big one with the Wolves taking on the Nuggets.
Buy tickets for that game, people. Diehards, fill up that arena. That's like a playoff atmosphere, that one. That's going to be a very big emotional game. That would be great to have that as a
That one will be good. That one I'm not worried about. The Wolves don't have a big enough fan base.
Well, I'm not worried about the Wolves taking over the arena. I'm just telling Nuggets fans, it's like you could buy playoff tickets 1 week later for $100 more per ticket, or you can go to that one, which will have the same feel of an intensity of a playoff game on a Friday night for significantly cheaper. So that I would advise you to buy tickets to. I might buy tickets.
This is an interesting question. Would you be more surprised if the Nuggets made the Western Conference Finals this year, or when the Nuggets were down 3-1 to the Clippers in round 2?
Oh, definitely when I would be more surprised down 3-1. Like that, to me, I was just so certain they were done. I mean, they came back once. You can't picture them doing it again. So no question. To me, that was as surprised as I could be.
How surprised would you be if they made the Western Conference Finals this year?
There's a scenario in which they get a lucky draw, favorable draw in the first round that you go like, okay, sweet. They got somebody as banged up as them or whatever, and they win. You go to that Memphis series, I'd be pretty surprised if they won that. I'm not going to lie. I'd be pretty surprised. Memphis is killing everything. Memphis might be the 3rd most momentum team going into the playoffs. Actually, the only team really is Phoenix now, with Boston having the Robert Williams news. So they have a lot of momentum. So I'd be pretty surprised, but I still, just from a like, is Jokic good enough to take it to Steven Adams? Yes. Is that enough? I don't know, but we'll see. So not that surprised. Pretty surprised, but not that surprised.
One more thing before we get out of here. Tomorrow, you should definitely check out ESPN. You should follow Tim Bontemps on Twitter, and you should check out ESPN. I believe either tomorrow or the next day, Tim Bontemps' latest straw poll for the MVP will be dropping.
What do you predict what it's going to look like?
I don't have the results.
I know, but what are your predictions? Like, what do you think?
I may have tried to get them out of Tim and failed. I will tell you that based off of the miniature straw poll that I conducted, I expect it to be number 1, Nikola Jokic, number 2, Giannis Antetokounmpo, number 3, Joel Embiid.
Honestly, I think that's how it should go. I honestly think Embiid should be knocked down quite a bit over this last month that he's had. So for me, I'd be so interested to see that. I'm very curious to see what the results say.
It might be really tight. I mean, there might be selection bias here in that I talk to a certain type of voter, right? Like I'm not texting Stephen A, right? Like that's not the thing. So I'm not talking to Vince Carter. But I do think that there's a very good likelihood. I think that the poll will surprise some people tomorrow. They have not voted yet, Kyle. This is a straw poll. They vote on the award at the end of the season. The award was the straw poll was taken Friday. So there you go. And I was part of that straw poll, even though I'm not a voter. But he includes me because I pay attention to this stuff. And I said Jokic, Giannis, Embiid. Okay, let's go wrap it up.
Somebody says before you go, I think Murray's COVID was the biggest setback or whatever. I don't know. I don't think so, but I don't know.
I think it definitely, the timing was weird. The timing was heading there. He goes into protocols. Things get really messy. And I don't think it's, because of the protocols. It's just I think things got off track around that time. But we'll see. Let's wrap it up and we'll talk about more tomorrow on an off night. We will be back with more on the Nuggets. We'll get you set for whatever the outcomes of the various games in the association are. We'll get you covered on all those. Talk about where the Nuggets are going, where they've been, and all things Nuggets. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have yourselves a great week. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys again next time on Locked On Nuggets.